department of the cooking, the hands-on, the nutrition at All Children's Hospital, and she's also been in sports rehab, aquatic fitness, and therapy. She's a swimmer herself. She swam for many years, right, Kelly?
Yeah.
So she's a fish in the water, and Kellie walks the walk. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. And she also is from Ohio. Anybody from Ohio here with us on the webinar tonight? But she's been in Florida for 19 years. She's married, she has 2 dogs, and she has a beautiful preteen daughter, Kiera. You'll probably all get a chance to meet her in our next program because we got something fun and exciting planned for us girls. And Kellie sets a great example for her daughters and for us. So I'm going to let Kellie take it away, and I'm going to be here on standby if she needs me. And all right, ladies, enjoy.
All right, thank you, Pamela. Let's see if I can get up here. All right, so I feel really odd speaking into the computer without hearing all of your voices, so bear with me. Hopefully I don't have the crazy eyes going all over the place. I'm real honored to be here and, of course, to be part of Fab 50, and I'm so glad that Pamela asked me to do the webinar. However, following Dr. Dean and Sarah, that's 2 hard people to follow after, so I really want to just keep things basic and provide some great information for you all tonight and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. So as Pamela said, I've been working in the field of nutrition for many years, and specifically because, well, 1, I love food, and 2, I really enjoy the nutrition and fitness and being part of everything that has to do with that and being able to help people. So food, as you know, is everywhere. It's available, it's over-available, and sometimes can be overwhelming. So some of the biggest questions I get are related to food and what I should eat and how much and what to pick and how to shop. So I thought we could talk about that tonight. And again, I'll provide some basic information for you, and then you can ask me some questions. So I'm going to click through the slides, and we're going to start with a couple quick facts. And I always like to start out the presentation with just a few things. First of all, 25% of the vegetables eaten in our country are French fries, which of course you all know that French fries are not vegetables. Most Americans consume about 4,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium, and we know that based on the different foods that we eat and the processed foods and what's in them, when really you're supposed to have under 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Today, because I work with kids, and we do this all the time with the kids, a lot of our kids, over 70%, do prefer fast food to home cooking. And on a daily basis, 50 million Americans purchase or go out for fast food, which I thought was pretty amazing. So let's continue. So processed foods, obviously they're everywhere. They're very convenient. And they really have taken over the supermarkets in general. So basically, a processed food is something that was taken originally, in some cases, a raw or whole food, and it was transformed. And you'll find your processed foods usually in the middle of the shopping aisles. They are packaged. They're lots of cardboard, lots of plastic, lots of foil, and most of them don't offer a lot of nutritional value. So the processed foods have what's called food additives, and what happens is the manufacturers take the food and they add chemicals, they add different flavorings, they add coloring, and they do it for a couple different reasons. One is to maintain the texture because the food is meant to be on the shelf for a very long time. 2, sometimes they actually enrich or fortify the food by adding in nutrients and vitamins and minerals. And they also do it to maintain the wholesomeness so that bacteria and germs aren't growing in these types of foods. And in some cases, they can even change the color or the flavor of the food. So some of the artificial food additives, and this is not in any way, shape, or form an entire list. This is the most common ones that you see when you read your labels. If you Google or you go on and you look up artificial food additives, you'll get lists and lists and lists. So these are the more common ones, and you, I'm sure, have heard about MSG, which is you know, an additive found in many, many foods. I know a lot of times it's always Chinese takeout that gets blamed for this, but in reality, it's in a lot of different foods. And then you have your hydrogenated oils, which are trans fat. And yes, the government has stepped in and is looking to take those out of foods. But if you read the label, and when you know how to read it correctly, you'll see that there's a certain amount, a certain percentage that's still allowed in your food. Then you have the high fructose corn syrup, which is very processed, and in many, many foods, again, it's a preservative, it's a sweetener, and it maintains a long shelf life. You have sulfites, nitrates, you have artificial colors and dyes, and then you have some artificial sweeteners like the NutraSweet or the sucrose. Yeah. So all these you will see in the food labels. Okay, so fast food. And as I go through this, I never try to pick on anything specific, especially brands. But so if I mention something brand-wise, it's just an example. It's not that I pick on them, or I say Starbucks or McDonald's. It's not that I hold anything against them, but sometimes I can get good examples with the food they serve. So fast food nation, as I mentioned before, 50 million Americans every day go after fast food. And in fact, I live right down the street. I can go to 6 different places if I want within walking distance. There's, I can buy subs, coffee, pizza, chicken, tacos, and burgers if I was to choose. So all within walking distance from my house. So as we said before, it's over available. Fast food is very high in calories. It's low in vitamins and minerals. It can be high in salt, sugar, and fats, and low in fiber. Most of the time, almost no fiber. And what you need to know is if you are going to go out and have fast food is really to understand what the calories are and what you're taking in. Because most fast food, if you eat the entire meal, you're probably going to wind up with around 1,200 to 1,500 calories per sitting. And that not only goes for fast food, but also a restaurant. You know, portion sizes when we go out are very, very large. And again, I'm not picking on the fast food or restaurants. You know, we eat not just because we're hungry anymore. We do eat for social reasons. We eat for celebrations. But we really need to know what we're putting in our bodies. So it's just a matter of education and deciding if that's a good choice, is that a sometimes choice, or is that something you want to kind of avoid. As far as fast food goes also, it's very processed because, and I think this is almost actually very amazing, but McDonald's, I learned that when McDonald's had to introduce the apple dippers on their menu, it's something that they had to introduce not in one McDonald's, but in every single McDonald's all over the world. So the apple dippers you get in Florida are the same apple dippers you would get in France, England, or China. And so what happens is it took years for them to develop this, to find the growers, to find the manufacturers, and to find the distributors to do that with millions and millions of apples every day. So even though you start with this great piece of fruit and it's very healthy, by the end, this type of food becomes processed. Because now you have taken an apple that has to last and has to maintain a shelf life to make it out to all these different McDonald's all over the world. So in some ways, I find that very fascinating and very clever. However, on the other hand, it's not something that you probably want to use on a regular basis or ingest. Okay. So processed drinks, and I love to show this slide because it's just eye-opening that a lot of times, and especially because I work with the kids and teens, they don't always realize that calories come from beverages. And so I always throw this in here because, one, a lot of the drinks are very processed. They have additives, they have coloring, they have sweeteners, and just different chemicals in there. So this kind of tells you exactly what the calories are and also what the sugar content is. So if you were to have a Tropicana fruit drink, a 20 ounce, it has about 340 calories, or is equal to 2 cans of Ready Whip, which is a lot. Arizona kiwi strawberry, again, I'm not trying to pick on the brands, these are just great examples. has the same amount of sugar as 7 bowls of Fruit Loops. And Starbucks, which I love Starbucks, you can't pick on Starbucks too much. However, Starbucks white chocolate mocha with whipped cream has about 660 calories, so probably more than a meal, and the same sugar as 8.5 scoops of ice cream. So you know these types of drinks are very processed. And I really follow the belief that Sarah and Dr. Dean talked about, and that is there's no bad food and everything in moderation. I just think that it's really important to have the education so you all can make the decision. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about whole foods. Whole foods, unlike the processed, are unrefined. They don't have a long shelf life. The flavor is authentic. They're bright in color, and they're full of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And antioxidants. So there's some amazing things that you can get from whole foods. Another example I wanted to give you real quick, and some of my instructors do this for the kids, is they have purchased a fast food meal from a restaurant, and they mark the date, and it sits in their office. And so some of these fast food meals are over a year old. And the meal itself looks exactly the same as when they purchased it. So to me, that's like, wow, if I left a piece of bread on my table, or if I left a bowl of strawberries on my table, it would eventually mold and it would disintegrate. So it doesn't have a long shelf life. So you really want to think about the foods that you're putting in your body and how your body is going to react to them. So whole foods definitely will provide you with the nutrients and the vitamins that you're looking for. Now there are some natural food additives, and I know that you all post these amazing things on Facebook, and I love reading all the ideas and all the suggestions and all the recipes. And so adding herbs and spices and learning how to use those in the recipes correctly can make all the difference in the way your food tastes. Vinegar is another natural food additive, and you're able to use that for pickling. And then using salt to preserve meats is also natural. However, of course, sodium is something that we want to be careful of. Okay. So let's take a poll question. Pamela's going to help me with this.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a poll. Oops. Let me get rid of the stuff here. Create a poll. Which one are we doing? Okay. Are frozen fruits and veggies more or less nutritious than fresh? So everyone quickly, are frozen fruits more nutritious? Or frozen fruits and veggies less nutritious? Or maybe you just don't know. So everybody quickly vote.
And then hit finish survey at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. All right, they're still coming in. About 67% of you guys, 70%. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Make your best guess, ladies, or your best answer. And we're going to close the poll. And we're going to share the results. Does it share? Okay, so Kelly, 20% say that they're more, 54% say that they're less, and 16% don't know.
Okay, so here's the scoop on frozen versus fresh. In many, many cases, frozen fruits and vegetables can actually be more nutritious. And here's the reason why. So if you, what happens when they freeze fruits and vegetables is they pick them and they freeze them right away at the peak of freshness. And what happens when you buy produce is, one, you should know, you want to look to see where the produce is coming from. If you're buying produce that is from outside the country, it can possibly take up to 2 weeks to get onto your grocer's shelf. So if you're talking about buying something that's been in another country, then shipped here, and then driven by truck, and then having to stock it on the shelves, you're talking about that product losing some of its nutrients. Whereas if you take the fresh vegetable and they flash freeze it, all those nutrients are maintained within the frozen fruit or vegetable. So to be honest, in a lot of ways, frozen sometimes can be better. Now, when you do buy fresh produce, which is amazing, and like Sarah said last week, indulge in your produce, you really want to look for local produce that is fresh picked and brought right to the produce market, the farmer's market, or right to the grocery store, because it's going to maintain the nutrients better. Okay. How do we go right here? Okay. Okay. This one? Click that to get this.
Yeah, click that right there where my finger's at. Yeah, click that.
Okay.
Oh.
No?
It's supposed to take the slides out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on, sorry.
Just a second. Just want to get.
There we
Okay,
go.
sorry. Okay. So some other advantages to frozen, okay? Nutrition, they actually have the same value as fresh in many cases, and sometimes more because of the way they're processed, and also because sometimes we buy products that are from far, far away. They're very convenient. They're quick and easy to serve. They're very economical, and they're never out of season. So whenever you want mangoes, you can buy mangoes. If you're looking for broccoli or Brussels sprouts or cauliflower, it's always in season if you buy it frozen. And the freshness, they pick it at the peak of freshness and are able to freeze it right away. So you do have the best nutrition. And the other thing is there's no waste involved. So it's already cut up, it's all ready to go, there's no waste. You use the entire product. So let's talk about going to the store. And I just threw this in here because we're going to talk a little bit about labels. And I enjoyed seeing this, and I think my favorite thing on here was the, where was it? Not the ADH flakes. I think it was the Zero Nutrition Puffs is what caught my eye on that. Okay, so let's go shopping. When you're at the store, here's a couple tips. Number one, you want to shop the perimeter of the store first. That's where you're going to find your produce, your fresh meats, your dairy, and then you want to use the center of the aisles to supplement. Okay? You also want to look for produce that's in season, as Sarah has said. You want to review your weekly ads. So, for example, right now Publix has wild salmon on sale, the sockeye salmon. Normally, it's about $22, $23 a pound. This week, it was $13 a pound. So guess who had salmon this week? You also want to read all your labels. And one of the best tips I can give you, because I know that reading labels can be difficult and it can be overwhelming, and it makes your shopping trip that much longer. However, if you really are looking for good products, what you want to do is read your ingredient list. And honestly, if you see that the first 3 ingredients are not up to par or what you expect out of that product, it goes back on the shelf. So those first 3 ingredients are the most important, and that's what makes up most of the packaging, what's in the packaging. Okay? I have a couple examples here, and it's hard to see, but on here, there's hydrogenated has been circled, monosodium glutamate has been circled. So these are examples these are examples of labels that have many, many ingredients. And this is always a red flag for me, because when I start to see many ingredients and then I start not to be able to read the ingredients and know what it is, I usually put it back on the shelf. So again, keep it simple is best. Okay. Some of the best whole foods. I have a book that a friend gave me years ago, and it's one of the best things that, if you guys can see this, it's one of the best books that I have, because it talks about all the whole foods, but not only does it talk about what they are, it talks about where they came from, how to prepare them, how to store them, because one of the things I hear from people over again is, I buy all this produce and then it goes to waste, and I feel like I spent my money and I wasted my money on something I didn't eat. So storing your produce, storing your whole foods is just as important as picking them out. And I put a list together, and I can make this available for you. But I went through veggies, fruits, nuts, seeds, dairy, and just picked out some of the best things to have in your house and to have on hand for your recipes or for grab and go. So I won't read through this, but I'd be happy to provide this for any of you. I can post it later if you'd like. Okay, so we have veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds on here. And then we have beans, your grains, some herbs and spices, your low-fat dairy, and of course your protein. Okay? Again, these are just suggestions, but these are some of the whole foods with the highest nutrient content for both vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Okay? All right, keep it stocked. You know what? Let's do another poll real quick.
Okay, we're going to take another poll. All right. Here we go, ladies. As a runner, should we avoid all processed food? True, false, or I don't know? Give you a minute to vote. Keep them coming, keep them coming. All right, we're going to close the poll. And there you have it, ladies.
And good job. 40% said false, 20% true, and 24% said I'm not sure. And let's go back to the presentation. The correct answer is false. Some of our processed foods, this one, right? Some of our processed foods are actually of benefit. And what I really do recommend, and I think that even Sarah and Dr. Dean mentioned this too, is you do want to keep a well-stocked pantry because this is setting you up for success in your kitchen. So having some of the less processed but healthier items in your pantry is a great idea. And again, I just went through and put some of my favorite on here. There's lots of other ones you can pick from, but these are great to have on hand to make for quick meals, snacks, and dinners. Now this website, I wanted to share this with you, and as soon as I get an actual smartphone one of these days, this is going to be the first I put on here. There's a website called Fooducate.com, and they also have an app for your smartphone, and it's the coolest thing because you can take your phone to the grocery store, you can scan the food label, and this app will give you a rating for the food you scanned, and it will also give you other options if you're looking for something similar that possibly might be a better, more nutritious option. So it grades the food from A to D, and it rewards minimally processed foods, so it really looks for really nutrient-dense foods, and it takes points off when there's high sugar, high fat, and high sodium. And it's free. And if you don't have an app, then you can go on to their website, and they have a great online food base, and you can check everything out. Last tips, I just want to say, every day you want to include a rainbow, and this includes eating a variety of colors. You can use fresh, frozen foods. Boost the flavor of your nutrition with your favorite recipes with herbs and spices. And don't forget to try your best and sell it to your family. No one wants to go into the fridge and pull out a bag of carrots and get excited about it. I mean, let's face it, we've got all these other things out there now, trying to get our attention. What you do want to do is make a plate, make a beautiful, colorful plate for your family, add some low-fat dip or some hummus, and really sell that fruit and veggie plate. You'll be amazed at what they reach for when it's presented in the right fashion. So the research shows that nutrient-rich foods are very optimal for your health, and they can even help protect against cardiovascular disease, cancer, and even diabetes. And my last closing thought, oops, I didn't have it on here, but my last closing thought was that I think that you all are doing an amazing job with this research, and I'm so excited to be part of this with Pamela. And I know halfway and then at the end, she's going to see some great results because of all of you and your efforts. So I'll be happy to take questions if anyone has any. Thank you so much.
So let's go ahead and open it up for questions, and I'm just going to change the screen a little bit. So get your questions in, and Kelly will answer them for you.
Yes, the app, and you know, Sean asked me about the app. You know, I'm not real good with the smartphone. However, I was with a friend, and it's very easy to download. It's free, and then it's very easy to use. So we went through the grocery store and just started bipping everything through. It's wonderful. And what do I think of Truvia? I think that there's not a lot of research out about that yet, and I think you really have to think about why you're using it. I think some of the natural sweeteners are better, whether it's sugar or honey, just because there's no long-term research out there that shows what it is or what it does. And what else? What are the best foods to eat for running? Oh, you guys have great questions. Well, the list I put up there, all are very good, but when you run, you definitely want to include proteins, carbohydrates, and it can be your favorite. You know, it can be a really great healthy meal the night before with salmon and spinach and quinoa. It can be right before running with, you know, some steel-cut oatmeal and a banana. Okay. So let's see, best kind of brown rice. Best kind of brown rice. Best kind of brown rice. You know what? I just buy the bagged brown rice. There's actually a local brown rice, and I don't remember the name. I'll have to find it. But they grow rice here in Florida, so I do look for that. I also do basmati rice. If you like white rice but don't want it as processed, you can do a basmati. Okay. Let's see. How do you grow stevia? I know stevia is a plant, and I know a lot of people are using it as a sweetener. Like I said, I don't know. It hasn't been around long enough for me to make an opinion about it. So there's still a lot of research out there about that. But it seems to be a good option. But again, I'm just back to basics. If you want to sweeten something, use a little bit of sugar, brown sugar, honey. You know, just keep it whole food. Okay. How do you know what a portion size should be? Oh, that's a great question, Kylie. A portion size should really fit in the palm of your hand. That's the easiest way I can explain it. So, you know, it's a piece of fruit. It's if you have a protein, it should fit in the palm of your hand. It should be about the size of a tennis ball, about the size of a hockey puck. Okay. Let's see. How do you know before running, apple okay? Yes, apples are great. Apples are wonderful. And dip it in peanut butter, even better. What are your thoughts about protein bars? I think protein bars are good. I think you need to read the ingredients to see what's really in them. Some are very high in sugar and even have some additives in it. So again, I think less is better. And there are some great options out there. I think, let's see, what else? What are your thoughts for post-workout? Like post-workout meals, Darlene? I'm thinking that's what she's saying. Yeah. What are your thoughts for post-workout? Okay. I think whatever. Protein? Oh, protein? Yes. Yes. Well, you need a combination. Each meal, remember what Sarah said, each meal should be very balanced. So you want to include fruits and vegetables, should be half your plate. You want to include a lean protein, and you can include a little bit of carbohydrates. But definitely after your workout, especially when we're running, ladies, we got 4 miles this week, the protein helps build back your muscle strength. So you definitely want to include some type of protein. It can be animal-based or vegetable-based. Shake? Sure, you can do a protein shake, absolutely, if that's what you like. Whatever you choose, whatever you do, it has to work for you, and it has to be something that you really enjoy. Okay. Is that the chia? Chia. You know what? I keep seeing this on Facebook, and I'm going to be real honest. I don't know a lot about chia, but I would love to learn more. So I will start looking that up and use some of my expert resources to find out more. And, oh, Heidi, yes, chocolate milk is great after a workout. If you do a skim or a low-fat chocolate milk, it has both the carbohydrates in it you need and also the protein. Any other questions?
Okay, ladies.
Thanks,
So we're going to close down the unless we want to answer Susan's. We'll take one last question. Susan wants to know about electrolyte replacement.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know, the sports drinks that we have at Running really do help with this. If you're looking for foods that help with this, I would say fruits and vegetables high in potassium would be really good. So bananas, kiwis, avocados. But, you know, the sports drinks that we use as well, those will also help replace your electrolytes. So you're really looking to replace that potassium.
We have a handout in our library on our website for the sports drink Cytomax. We worked really hard to find something that was not loaded with sugar. It's actually sweetened with stevia. I personally am a fan of stevia because it is a natural herb, and if you get the organic kind, you're pretty safe as far as the best option for artificial sweetener, although it's made from an herb. But in any event, the Cytomax, there's a handout on the Cytomax, I believe, in our library. If not, we'll post the document. We do have a document about it, and that's available for all of you to get some further information. So we're going to conclude the webinar tonight, ladies. Thank you so much for participating. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for your chat comments. Thanks for playing on our whiteboard. And thank you for being a part of this clinical